Welcome, everyone, to Weekend Escapades. Today, we are in Two Guns, Arizona, Ghost Town. This town is about 30 miles east of Flagstaff, Arizona, on Old Route 66 or Highway 40. You'll see the entrance clearly marked off the highway for Two Guns, and also you can find a great way to get back on the highway, so easy access at this location. The early beginnings of this area had long been inhabited by the Native Americans from 1050 to 1600 AD. The first American settlers were traders and mountain men. They established a trading post called Canyon Lodge. The traders established a good relationship with the Navajo. But things changed when the U.S. Cavalry began to round up the members of the Navajo tribe in 1864 and imprison them on the reservation at Fort Sumner. 4 years later, they were released and returned to their homeland in Arizona. Many returned to Canyon Diablo. Now, there was a major confrontation in this area between the Navajo and the Apache. The two tribes battled for years, and in 1878, the Apache attacked the Navajo camp and murdered everyone but 3 Navajo girls, and they were taken prisoner. Navajo warriors from another camp sent their men after the Apache. Now, they found them hidden in a cave here at this location. You'll see some pictures. The Navajo lit sagebrush fires at the cave's exit and shot any warrior who tried to escape. 42 Apache men died at this site. It's referred to as the Death Cave. Now, this is the cave, or the entrance to the cave, where this all happened. As you can see here, there's a couple of different entrances. It looks like some of it has fallen down, but you can still go in this cave today. There's so much history at this location, even including Billy the Kid. During the winter of 1879 to 1880, Billy the Kid and his outlaw gang hid in the ruins of the stone house and corral on the west rim of Canyon Diablo, across from Two Guns. Now, this stone house here was obviously a 2-story, and when you go inside, you can see a lot of the debris. The topsoil has fallen down, and you can see this roof sagging. And it really is putting a strain on the supports. It was a little nerve-wracking going in because at one point, this has just got to give way, I would think, as the timber gets older and the rocks aren't getting any lighter, that's for sure. The stone construction of this area is amazing, that these buildings are still standing as old as they are. Again, a lot of them have fallen down, but still, this construction must have been extremely strong. Looks like there's a little bit of pipe and so forth, some iron in there that maybe they used like a rebar to hold these walls up, but not much. So Canyon Diablo was the perfect place for early settlers to cross, first by wagon, then by automobile. And around 1917, a bridge was built and it was open to traffic. The Oldfields settled by the side of the road and built a square stone house that they operated as a trading post for travelers, prospectors, cowboys, sheep herders, and local natives. It was known as Canyon Lodge. In the 1920s, the Cundiffs purchased 320 acres of the land, and on the west side of the canyon, they constructed a large stone building, and they also established a restaurant and gasoline pumps. Henry Two Guns Miller, who claimed to be full-blooded Apache, leased land from the Cundiffs. Miller was said to be wild and violent and hostile to visitors. He is the one who, with the help of the Hopi Indians, constructed pens for wild animals such as mountain lions and other desert creatures. So be sure to stay to the end because we're going to show you the entrance to that zoo that was built out of stone by Miller. And you can see those bathrooms looked a little primitive. There is no shortage of giant buildings and rock and stone construction on this property, and much of it is still standing. As you'll see here, going through this large building in all of the separate rooms that to me looked like a place for people for lodging. Each one of them had like a window and a doorway going in, and you'll see some of that construction here. Now, this isn't a small property. It's probably about a half a mile from the entrance where the service station is, the exit, all the way back into these buildings proper. So much to walk around and see. You can drive it. The road is a little bit rough, so There's an outside road that you can go along following the highway, and it ends up coming around the backside. But you've got to go over the old bridge that's there that was built. But that bridge is still there that you can go over. A little bit scary, but it seemed fairly sound. Now, we didn't think we were going to be here that long, as this is the first time we've been here. But we saw how big this area is, and Lisa and I just kept walking through the property and finding more and more things to look at. As you can see, it's just doorway after doorway in this building. I'm surprised at how much is still standing. So even more history about the location. There's a giant entrance here made of stone that Miller put in for a zoo. They had mountain lions, bobcats, panthers, and Gila dragons. He also sold the skeletal remains of the Apache who were killed earlier to the tourists. The area became known as Two Guns. Miller got into a dispute in 1926 with Earl Cundiff and shot and killed him. Despite the fact that Cundiff was unarmed, Miller was acquitted of the murder. He returned to Two Guns and then was mauled by 2 mountain lions and bitten by a poisonous Gila dragon. He became very ill and left Two Guns with a huge amount of silver, turquoise, and jewelry, plus merchandise. Miller's store burnt down in 1929, and Mrs. Cundiff put in large framed buildings, which she continued to conduct a trading post and tourist shop. Miller soon returned and said the land was rightfully his. Court actions that cost over $15,000 finally cleared her title. She later opened a Texaco service station along Route 66. Additional buildings were constructed, such as a restaurant, an Indian curio shop. Hopi Indians built a Pueblo-type house on the side canyon rim directly across from the caves. Tours were then conducted through the Hopi house, where Indian products and other items were sold. Two Guns became one of many tourist stops along Route 66. Then came Highway 40, and it bypassed Route 66, and Two Guns died a quick death, and it is still sitting lonely today and an abandoned ghost town. So if you're ever traveling down Route 66, we encourage you to visit this location as we found it fascinating. We hope you enjoyed our visit to Two Guns, Arizona, and until our next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades.